What's up, everybody? Welcome to YouTube Live. This is Mitch Maeli Live. We're here for another week of awesome trainings for you. We've got an incredible one today. Maeli's going to be walking us through lead generation and how to find those off-market deals. So we got some awesome stuff planned. We're excited you're here. And with that said, we got a couple announcements before we get into the training today. Just want to announce a couple of things. Biggest one is tomorrow. I guess it's not the biggest one, is it? But tomorrow, they're all important. Tomorrow, we're having our live in-person mastermind at Real Estate Essentials Brokerage in Murray, Utah. So if you're in the Utah area or if you're traveling and you're going to be around, we would love to see you at the mastermind. That's going to be tomorrow at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Make sure you're there. It's always incredible. And then also, we have Renatus Nationals coming up. So that's something you're not going to want to miss. We've got the CEO of the company is going to be there, the president of the company. We've got a lot of incredible, hard-hitting speakers coming in. Troy Dunn's coming in. Woody Woodward's coming in. We've got just awesome people. TV celebrities, real estate investors from around the country. You're not going to want to miss it. They're coming to our hometown of Layton, Utah. That's a coincidence. We're just lucky. But we get to walk over to the conference center while everybody else has to fly in. Sorry, guys. But it's going to be awesome. March 21st, March 22nd, March 23rd, 3 incredible days of training from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. On Friday night, we have the banquet, which is awesome. It's a formal event. It's an award ceremony, and we have dinner being served and all the amazing things. That goes from 6 p.m. until the wee hours of the morning, Saturday morning. So you're not going to want to miss it. Let us know if that's something you want to attend, because we want you to be there. So with that said, let's get in and talk about some off-market deals. Now, this is a pretty cool topic because I just dropped a book called Off-Market Deals on Tap, and that plays right in. And if you guys stay to the end, we'll be giving that away for free. So, but with that said, I'm the author of the book, but Maeli's the expert. She's the one that does this stuff every day. So
I don't know
I'm
exactly.
going to turn the time. I mean, I probably taught you some stuff along the way, but and then now you're teaching me stuff. But I'm going to turn the baton over to our beautiful host today. Maeli, take it away.
All right, thank you so much. And I guess we do have a couple more announcements. So, for all of you wonderful ladies, so March 25th, we are going to be back at the Murray office, and we're going to be doing how to find deals in person. So it'll be pretty similar to the same topic that we're going to be talking about tonight, but we'll just be in person live doing it. I definitely feel like if you're a real estate agent, it's going to be next level for you, and we're going to talk about why that's the case. I don't dude, I wish I had the iPad like Mitch has. I could like draw. Oh wait, there's like a little thing on here somehow I can draw, right? There's like a cute little, we're not gonna play with that game. Whiteboard. We're not gonna play with it. So, well, maybe I'm gonna try. Should
You
I
want,
try something new tonight?
you want
Let's
me to bring
see.
this up?
Huh? Well, let me see if I can.
Okay.
Oh, let's see. Hold on. Let's see if I can play with this one. New whiteboard. Can you see a whiteboard? Is that what you can see?
Yes.
It is?
Yeah.
Wow, I've never played with this before. We're gonna have some fun. How about that? See, all of us learn something new all the time. And I will give you a story. So, uh, part of why I so recently I was just, we were in Colorado visiting with our daughter. So she had a big volleyball tournament, right? And it was so much fun. It was so special to be able to be there with her and take that time off. And it was a little stressful because, we are in a situation where we're constantly in communication with people, right? And that's just our game. That's all of our games. I mean, if we think about it, right? Uh, there's benefits to having technology because we get to communicate so fast to people. But there's also a downside, which is people expect you to communicate right now. And it's like, I can't even take an hour off without somebody, you know what I mean? But I do put limits and I do create boundaries. And, it was so great to be able to just be like, hey, I'm taking off because I don't have service. And so it was a valid excuse, actually, like the entire weekend, because the building itself was just this huge, I mean, it was wildly ginormous. I think there was 20,000 girls there, plus their parents and whoever else came and visited. So it was next level. And our daughter, just so you know, took fifth place. Her team did in the entire tournament in gold, which so proud of her. But it was such an interesting thing because as real estate agents and or people in business, I feel like it's really hard for us to set boundaries, right? Uh, give me a head nod, right? Yes, yep, I'm getting the yes. It's like it's so hard to be like, well, wait, I need to be, responsible, and I need to be there for my clients, and I need to be there for all of of our students. We need to be there for everybody that and our family and whoever else needs us. But there has to be a place where it's like, no, like this is my time, this is me time, or this is our family time, or whatever. And so I encourage you tonight to actually take a second, maybe after this call, obviously, to really actually start thinking about what those boundaries are, because that's what lead generation actually eventually will do for you. For a while, what I'm going to show you tonight means you're going to be putting a lot of effort into it. You're going to be taking a lot of, let's see if I can draw. I don't know. I don't know how this works. I don't know. Huh? Huh? I don't see.
Click on the little pen icon on the left on your toolbar.
I don't see one. I don't see one.
Should it say on the left-hand side you see your toolbar?
Uh-huh.
So on the left, click on the little pen icon. Right now you're on the arrow.
I don't see a pen icon.
Over to the left.
Uh-huh. Over here somewhere?
Yeah, do you not see a toolbar there?
Uh-uh.
I'll come up and help you. 1 second.
Yeah, I'll take it. So the interesting part is that constantly we are going to be setting rules, right? And Samantha's going to show me something. Oh, no. Your name just popped up on my whiteboard. I don't know how that worked. Who knows? I'm going to leave this in a second if this doesn't work out. But basically, what takes place in lead gen is a lot of lead gen, right? Lead gen is something that you will constantly be doing, and something that I really, really enjoy. You want to show me where it's at?
You don't have a toolbar, do you?
Oh yeah, see, no, I wasn't crazy. Nope, not gonna work because there is no toolbar.
Hmm.
How would it work?
Um,
How?
it's because you're not signed in.
Oh, you're signed in.
Do you want my iPad? I can bring it up.
It's fine. Why don't you just draw the vertical integration? But then I'll just tell you and draw.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, then. So the key behind lead gen is you create a funnel, right? And something that is so powerful that people just don't really think about is have you ever read the book Compound Effect? If you haven't, that's like such a great book to really help show and allocate, right? Like how it works. But lead generation can be something that up front, right? You are spending so much time and so much effort doing, and it can feel like it's all for naught. It can be months. It can be literally almost a year before you're like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden it's compounding upon itself, right? But what my favorite part about is, and what we're going to show tonight is really that vertical integration. Because what I want you to try and figure out, right? And it's a process. It's not going to just happen overnight. But it's a process of recognizing it's like, oh, when I try new things, right? This didn't work. That's fine. We'll try something else. Like it's not a big deal. I'm actually going to leave the whiteboard because Mitch is going to start drawing, I think. Can I just turn that off? Is that how that works? Nope. Whiteboard off. No, no, yes, allow.
Voice commands aren't working. You got to hit stop share.
What?
I don't. There we go. I got you.
Oh, okay, I'm like, I don't see it. So, I don't know why I can't have it. I don't have any tools on my side. But so when you see the analogy of the vertical integration, what I really want you to focus on is that I'm hoping after the end of tonight's call, you'll recognize that all the leads that you're going to be generating for all of maybe your different businesses, and I want you to actually participate here tonight as, okay, what are the types of businesses you have, and where are what type of leads are you generating, right? Because at the end of the day, we shouldn't be trying to have multiple leads. We shouldn't be going, okay, I need leads over here for a lawn care business. We don't want leads for maybe a cleaning, house cleaning business. Maybe we have, we have Samantha and is it Alan?
Brian.
No. Brian. Dang. Okay. So yeah, vertical integration. So if you'll draw.
Sorry, she called me the wrong name today too. So.
I did. It's funny, I totally did. So if you'll draw me just a triangle, vertical triangle, that'd be very helpful. Okay, and then next to it, draw me, and I want it bigger because then you're not gonna be able to see this. Ooh, how could you draw it? I can't.
Another triangle?
Sure, that'll work. Okay, so the very, very tip top, okay, actually at the very bottom, I'm gonna have you write in real estate investing. And so real estate investing should be our primary game, right? That is where we actually will make the most money because that is big return on investment, right? We know our ROI should be, or that's why we're all here, right? We know that if we spend time in real estate investing and actually start acquiring assets, as Mitch teaches us every Thursday, right? That is how we create real generational wealth. That is how we really take control of our finances, actually acquiring properties. So we know that that's going to be our biggest funnel, right? That's our biggest platform. But on here we have for some real estate agents, right? And so what if you're a real estate agent? So let's go ahead and put a real estate agent on there. I think that would probably be the next biggest platform as far as a lead generation opportunity. And then I'm going to actually put on there some type of group. So if you're not already part of some type of, and maybe you can throw it in the chat if you want, or you can shout it out loud. If you're a part of some type of like hiking group, or maybe you're a part of a religious group, or maybe you're a part of women's real estate empire, right? Or maybe I don't know, whatever your forte is. Maybe you're like Mitch and you're a super nerd and you're part of like a NASA, group. I don't know what it is. Whatever you have some type of networking that needs to take place. And I'm going to show you a little bit of what that looks like on my end and how I do networking. Because we do need to be doing networking. We need to get in the front of people and let them know who we are and what we do, okay? The next thing is just as simple as it sounds, but it will be your social media. That will be your next one. This is just, again, lead gen. This is how important each one of these activities is. You would think that social media might be the top, but it's not. I promise. It is very important, but belly-to-belly communication is, I feel like, better. The next one I'm going to put is door knocking. Door knocking is such an incredible way to do lead gen. We totally don't take advantage of it. Tonight I was actually going to teach about door knocking, and then because I was actually going to try and take you out on the doors and have you follow me around and have some activities that way. But it's really cold, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. Just got back from our trip. I'm like, we're not playing with that tonight. And then I'm going to leave it for there because we're going to fill it in with other people's suggestions and just come up with ideas together tonight. So with real estate investing, and being a real estate agent, let me just give you these two I'm going to tell you a story. So 3 weeks ago, actually 3 of these. So networking group, real estate agent, and real estate investing. I'm going to use all three, okay, as just a story to show you how really they're the same lead. And really all of these are the same lead. And I'm going to show you how one person, so if I had a pen, I would draw one person kind of just dropping into the very top of this funnel, right? The very top, and it goes all the way through. So if I could draw, a person, right? They would go to the top and they would actually go all the way through. Yes, they would. They'd fall all the way through. And I'm going to give you the example. So 3 weeks ago, I had a gal reach out to me, and she just texted me and she said, "Hey, I got your number from your mom. She is so sweet. She's so nice. I met her at I met her at Ninja Warehouse." And I was like, "Oh, that's awesome. Your son and my son go to the same, group, and they do their Ninja Warehouse stuff." And I was like, "So amazing. I'm super excited to connect." Fast forward. So that's a networking group. If you are, my son, right, is in some type of physical activity, he's doing Ninja Warehouse. Have you ever watched Ninja Warrior? That's what he does. It's super fun. And so he goes flying around like a little monkey, right? And he does it every single Monday. That's what he does. Well, she says to me, "Oh my gosh, I heard what you do, and I've talked to you a couple times about, real estate, and your mom had brought up that you have a workshop coming in." And I was like, "Oh, perfect. So referral, let's use referral on there. That's probably a really, really big one, but let's do referral on there. Is just, the spot." So I got a referral from my mother. Thank you, Mother, if you're watching. And she says, my mom didn't even know she was going to reach out to me, right? She had no idea. She just said, hey, you should totally reach out to me. Well, anyway, she calls me. Long story short, I don't want to get into a lot of details just in case this wonderful human is actually watching this or ends up watching this ever. I don't want to give too many details away. But she ends up going through a scenario where she's like, hey, I would love to know what my house is worth. I would love to know what a cash offer might look like. And I would love to know, how all the ins and outs of real estate investing. And so, guess what I said? Well, great news, right? You should come down and check out what we do on Thursday night, right? Let's just have a blanket start. I never feel guilty about inviting somebody down to a Thursday night because I want them to feel like we can now have a longer conversation. So all of my clients, and I'm not kidding, all of my real estate agent clients, right? Everyone that's in this triangle, I invite to Thursday night. People think I'm a little nutty, but I promise I have a reason. So I invite her down to Thursday night. And I told her, hey, a lot of this is going to feel like you have no idea maybe what's going on, but a lot of it is just very simple, right? Think about it. If you think about Thursday night, or if you've heard Mitch's 4 Pillars presentation, it's just things that everyone should know. It's just some of it's like, oh, how do I not know that my whole life, right? Just velocity banking by itself. Like, okay, yes, please, right? Where do I start? So she's there. Afterwards, I start talking to her and she almost starts bawling, just full on. She's like, I didn't know. I just didn't know. And I was like, hey girl, like, just so you know, first off, I hear you. I didn't know either. Like, it's fine, right? You're like, we're all starting at the same spot. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, I just wanted you to understand that maybe, if you did sell your house, what that would look like. I also wanted you to see credibility, that if I was going to make a cash offer to you, that you would see that we're credible people. We have a team of people who could potentially make a cash offer to you, right? And that we're reputable, right? There's lots of reasons why I would want her to show up to a Thursday night. And she was like, oh no, this is fantastic. She just was like, I have so many things I'm thinking, right? Like, oh, I just don't know. I was like, okay, well, I'll reach out to you, tomorrow, and we'll chit chat. So we have a conversation the next day, and she's like, could you tell me what you would give me for a cash offer? And I said, absolutely. Fast forward, I go to her house, I bring one of my new agents, Melissa and I, and so she's a mentor. She's in my mentorship group, right? And she's like, okay, how do I figure this out? I'm like, all right, so I'll bring Melissa, because this is a great opportunity for Melissa to learn and figure out this side of the game, right? Because how do you close both at the same time? How do you say, oh, well, I could give you a cash offer and I could obviously list your house? How do you do that at the same time? And so this is what this would look like. So show up, I do the walk around, and I start asking these questions. And these are like really good questions. I said, how old is your roof? Right? These are all things you just need to know anyway, whether you're an agent or whether you are trying to figure out how much you can give somebody for their house. How old is your roof? Have you done any repairs on your property in the last 10 years? Right? Have you done any upgrades to your property in the last 10 years? Okay, start writing those down, right? And then I said, okay, after all that, I said, I want you to pull out a piece of paper. This is for you. This isn't for me. You're going to keep this, and you're going to write, and you're going to do an X on this piece of paper. On the left-hand side, you're going to put pros, and then on the right-hand side, you're going to put cons. And you're going to put listing, and then you're going to put cash offer. And then we're going to talk about some pros to listing your property and some cons, so down below. And then on the top, right, some pros to obviously taking a cash offer, and then some cons to taking a cash offer. And so that's exactly what we went through. Can anybody on here tell me maybe a con of taking a con of listing your house? You don't know who this lady is, but if you could just think, what would be a con for somebody? Why wouldn't they want to list their home in general? Why wouldn't they?
It might take too long.
Okay, exactly. We don't, right? I haven't given you her story. I haven't given you why she was asking for a cash offer potentially, right? And she did seem like she was in a hurry. And I'm not going to maybe share it on this live broadcast here tonight, but there is a situation in which she needs to sell her house, where it is absolutely something. She does not want to hold on to this property for very long. and she needs to get rid of this home. Okay, so right, we have a motivated seller. If we are talking to a motivated, we need to know how motivated they are though. And this is a great way to pull this out of them. Okay, so we know that she needs to sell. So maybe not, maybe it won't sell so fast. So that's a con. What else? Why would you not want to list your house? Anyone else? Tim, Trey, Wade, Samantha, you're good. You keep them coming, girl.
What if it's
Yeah.
falling apart? You just don't love it.
Okay, perfect. Yes. What if it is? So a lot of times what's happening with these homeowners is the home is cluttered, right? So maybe the house is just completely a mess. Maybe they're embarrassed that, you know, mom and dad have lived in this house for a really long time and they're hoarders. And they've never changed the carpet out in 60 years, you know, or whatever it might. A lot of times that's the case, right? They're just actually embarrassed and they don't want the neighbors to come through their house and know that this is how mom and dad lived, or maybe how they live, or right. That could be a serious con for someone if they're trying to list their house, because that's very invasive, right? Listing a home, you're going into their house and exposing it to the world. Like, this is what this house looks like. That can be very terrifying to somebody. So I would consider that a con to a lot of people. Now, again, it could go either way. And so they get to make that choice, right? But you bring that up. Is there a reason why you wouldn't? This is the question. Is there a reason why you wouldn't want somebody inside your house? Is there a reason why you wouldn't want all of your neighbors to come and take a look at your home during the open house? Right? All of a sudden they start feeling something. Good or bad, they're going to feel it. And if immediately like, no, I don't care, let them in, right? Cool. Then you know you're probably talking to somebody that should go ahead and list their house. But keep pulling information out, right? You'd be surprised. Listing appointments that I'm going into where I think it's clearly going to be a listing appointment. There's no way they want a cash offer. And in fact, this was one of them. Truthfully, this was one of them where I was like, of course, this is just going to be a listing. Well, this is where you keep listening. So we keep going through the motions and I'm like, okay, so what's another con? I'm like, so let's talk about the things that are wrong with the property. Okay. Has anything broken in the last 10 years that hasn't been fixed? Make them list all the things that they know of that are broken, right? Do you have a broken window? Do you have any broken panes, right? Is all the appliances working properly, right? Do you have any holes in the walls? How about the closet doors? How about doors in general? How are they functioning, right? How is the front door? How are all your knobs? How is the garage door? How is the roof doing, right? Really try and pull out the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, all at once, and force them to put it on this piece of paper. I'm going to tell you, it's magic when you do this because it's theirs. You're not even going to take it. Like, I don't care to take this piece of paper. Sometimes I'll take a picture of it just so I'm like, oh, just for reference in case you lose it type thing, right? But truthfully, I don't need to. I already know exactly what's going to happen here. And I already know the offer in which I'm going to give them, And so I have them writing it down, have them trying to figure out everything, right? So, okay, so let's talk about if we did list the property. If we listed this home, are you concerned that you would need to keep the home clean? Are you concerned that you're going to have to create time gaps for people to come and take a look at the house, 2 hours a day, 4 hours a day, and hopefully all day Saturday? Give me time to show the property. If they give you pushback, right? If they give you pushback of like, oh my gosh, I have 4 kids, or, this and that, that would be really difficult for me to let you in this house for X amount of time. Okay, right? That could be a con. Or it could go, yeah, I could care less. We're not even here half the time. We're not even here. It doesn't even matter. Okay. Those are 2 very different type of clients though, right? And you're going to get both. You're going to get people who are like, and whether they're clients as agents or you're just in the house and you're just an investor and you're having the same conversation, know that you should still be asking these same questions, whether or not you're a real estate agent, because you know whether to toss it to an agent, right? Because here's the thing. I actually just saw a stat from Renatus iOS, actually, on their headline of Renatus iOS. It says that 68% of homes can be or should be listed. The rest can be wholesales, or the rest can be, some type of cash offer or like a seller finance offer. That's interesting. I personally thought it would be a lot lower. I mean, when I thought, oh my gosh, to me, it's like, no, about 5% of the market can take like a cash offer or a seller finance offer. And then 95% of the market mostly is going to be, some type of listing, right? Like just go ahead and put it on the open market, or maybe for sale by owner or something, right? And that really actually intrigued me, because I thought, well, actually, I probably don't pull enough information out of these people, because maybe if I did a better job, they wouldn't just turn around and list it. They would actually go, never mind, I do want just a cash offer. So we can talk more through that. But so looking at this, for me, it's like, okay, that person, right, is coming through this funnel, and I get to choose where she lands first. In this case, the very last one is where she landed, right? I brought her all the way down to the very bottom first. And I said, hey, let's look at real estate investing. Let's look at how I can buy your house as a cash. And so she actually said, well, this seems all really stressful. And if I could just be done with this house and, like get rid of it really quickly, that might be actually worth my time. And I said, okay, but a cash offer is going to be significantly lower than listing your house. You're prepared for that. And it's because you're not fixing. So pros, back to the other side, pros of not listing your house. You don't have to fix anything. You get to leave whatever this is my spiel, so use it and take it. You can leave what you don't want, take what you do. That's a huge, huge selling point to so many people who are wanting to take a cash offer. That's a big deal for them, because that is so much stress off their plate, especially if it's some type of like probate lead. It's a situation of like, oh, perfect, right? I don't have to stress about all of mom's stuff, or all the 5,000 boxes of newspapers, or all the clutter and junk. Oh my gosh, we picked up some serious hoarder homes. All the things we have from these hoarder houses, right? It's wild. But it's a huge blessing to these families, because it can be such a burden, especially if they're out of state, or it's just embarrassing, or it's dirty and it's gross and they just don't want anything to do with it, right? Cool. That's our problem. We love it. Like, let us do our thing, right? And so that's a huge selling point for a lot of people. And if somebody's lived in their house for more than 20 years, it might be very relevant. Or maybe they don't have the money up front. Like if you bring up, okay, well, what's broken on, in your house, and that's part of your list, right? You've created the T, and you're like, okay, so what are the things that are broken that needs to be fixed before you sell the house? That's a great question to ask. They'll say things like, oh, well, I've got to, maybe I've got to fix all the holes in the walls. I've got to patch them and then paint them. And I got to fix the door. And, the home right before this other house, there was a flood in the bathroom. And so all the floorboard was completely rotted away. And so they're going to have to replace all of the subfloor and replace all the flooring and the tub and the toilet, just to even potentially list the property, right? And that was the home right before that one. And I'm going, do you know how expensive that is? And they're like, well, no, we've never had a quote. I'm like, well, I suggest you to get a quote if you're going to go that direction. But I can tell you right now, if, just because this is what I do for a living, minimum, this is $6,000. And that's with using really crappy materials. Like, this is not putting nice tile in at all. And this is putting back laminate, which was before, right? Like, this isn't updating the house in any way. I would think that, right, to really sell the house, you'd want to do a better job. And like, if they start going, I don't have $6,000 to fix this problem. If you start seeing panic for any reason, go stay on the right side of the quadrant, really push to that this is an investment property then. And sometimes, right, pain is their pleasure. If you push on the fact that if they don't make this move, what's it going to cost them? How much more damage is going to happen to the property if they don't get rain gutters? That's causing the footing problem, which is causing the foundation issue, which is causing, right, the so on and so forth. There's so many issues that I'm telling you, homeowners aren't educated enough. This is right. This is why Mitch and I are doing what we do. We're really trying to educate the masses, which is why I'm never sad that everyone should come to our workshop on Thursday night. So I encourage you, invite, because it doesn't matter who they are, what walk of life. I could care less if honestly if they ever actually become a student. Like that's cool. That'd be great. Eventually, one day, maybe, right? And I'll get into that. But like at the end of the day, they need to understand that there's people, one, that actually do know what they're doing. There's people who, there's a community who actually can serve and teach them and educate them on just small things, right? What's an inspection? They don't even know. Most of these people are so like, but nobody took the time to talk to them. Nobody took the time to educate them. Because where do you find that kind of information? Unless you're actually hiring a real estate agent that's trying to explain all this to you. But at that point in time, that person's trying to take money from you. And then it feels very like, oh, well, you know, one-sided almost. So anyway, back to this soap opera that I'm on. So this wonderful human says she started in the investing, and then I gave her a cash offer, and I want to say it was like 430. And she's like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah. And we can close in about 2 weeks. And she thought, oh, well, that sounds actually pretty nice. She owes on her property 410. So really, they wouldn't be walking away with a lot, but it's a cash offer, so no agents are involved, right? And when I ran the numbers, the ARV was close to like 575. Not bad, but investment-wise, we're gonna have to put some money into it, right? Like there would be quite a bit that we would want to put into it. I want to say it was at least 40, probably 35, 40,000 those, but it's a nice house, to be honest. Like it didn't need a ton. So that was kind of how that landed. And she's like, okay, well then if it wasn't, you know, if you're going to list it, what would it be? And I was like, well, are you going to fix the things that we talked about? Like, is that something that you would do? She's like, well, let's say I said yes. Like, okay, let's say that you did. Then I probably would list it for 530. That's probably, I mean, I wouldn't list it for 575 because you're not like, you know, you're not doing an ARV on this property. You're not fully painting it. You're not redoing the tile, not redoing the kitchen. You're not doing any of that, but I probably could try and get you 530. Like that's probably where I would try and land. And she was really excited. She's like, okay, that sounds really great. And then she pauses. She now obviously has to do her figure, you know, she has to figure out her stuff. From that one person, now I get another referral. Her aunt is going through a situation right now where it's, you know, where she needs somebody to make a quick move, right? The whole point of this is just, it starts to happen. If you help someone out of a really bad situation and you don't look at it like, oh, how am I going to make money on this person? Guess what? There's a whole funnel of places you can make money on, right? We don't need to think about, oh, well, where's my commission? And you know, that's just, right. First off, it's ugly. People are so like, it feels desperate, first off. And even if you are desperate, right? Some of us are in a really good financial situation right now. And I am here for that too. And I understand that. I've been there plenty in my life. But what I've always known is if you help enough people get what they want, you will always get what you want. And if you make that your intention, if you make that your why behind why you're showing up to their house, they're going to feel that. They're going to know it's like, oh, well, regardless if I sign with her, she's still educating me. She still took me to this workshop for free. She like gave me this opportunity to see that there was more out there. And that maybe one day if I did sell my house for 530 and I did make $60,000 on this house, maybe I would take $20,000 and invest back in me. Maybe I would. And in fact, I think that's what she's gonna do. And I'm really excited for her because, I mean, totally left field, like not even close to what I thought would ever happen for her. But she might actually do something for her for once, right? She actually might go, wait a second, I can do more. I am more. I am worth more. I love that. I love that for her so much and for her family that, you know, that she's taken care of. And then, so back to the social media. She posts a scenario on her social media that this is what's happening and that she has a new start and that she's doing all these amazing things. And then she reached out to me today and said, Maeli, guess what? I have 2 people that I want to refer you to. Do you think you could get him a ticket to your workshop tomorrow night? And I was like, why? Who are you? Like, it's so bizarre, right? Like, that's a funny thing. But for her, just taking power in finances, she hasn't even done anything yet. She's literally hasn't done anything yet. But just the idea that she could, and then she's already starting to do little moves, right? Just that 2-hour workshop allows you to start making little tiny decisions differently, allows you to start seeing the world a little bit differently. And so that's what vertical integration really can do for you, right? It's this idea that any single person that's inside your business, and if Mary was on, which I'm shocked she's not, she's usually on here, she'll say that, so her and her husband run a lawn care business. So it doesn't matter what type of business, and actually let's put another spot on here, Mitch, if you're still there, if you can just put business. Because if you're running another business of any kind, maybe you go to the office, maybe you have an entirely different business in general, okay? If you put business, Mitch is obviously not there, naughty boy, it's okay. So if you put business on the next line, oh, hey, look, there he is. Then how great that anybody that's in your business should be a referral for real estate investing. It should be. And the conversation would sound like, we can get into it a little bit more, but did you know that you could self-direct? I just found this out. It's the craziest thing. Did you know that you could self-direct an IRA? Wild. Just that question alone will change everything. And it could be an email, right? It could just be like a simple, like, to all of your client base. That is a really random question for somebody that runs a lawn care business. But they're starting to do this, and I'm really proud of her. I'm like, Mary, you guys are just crushing it right now. So, hey, did you know? There's a couple things that are going to happen from her creating this. She's going to get people going, what are you doing with real estate? Like, why are you, what? Right? It's okay to have people go like this. I promise, disrupt the world. It needs it right now. If you haven't noticed, right? We need to disrupt the world. So, right, make people go, huh? Lean in a little. Like, what are you talking about? Why are you talking about real estate investing? You're a lawn care business, but still valid question, right? It's still something that's like, it perks people's ears out. And then it's like, well, no, I didn't know that, right? Where are you going to send them? So you have a couple options. If they said, no, I didn't know that, what do you mean by that? Now you tell them a story. People love to buy, but they hate to be sold. End of story. That's all sales. Doesn't matter what walk of life you're doing, right? All people love to buy, right? We love to buy, like a good deal, or thinking we're getting a discount on something. Oh man, it's just gonna save our time or energy. Like, we love to buy, but we hate to be sold, because being sold feels kind of like a dirty car salesman type attitude, right? It just feels nasty. Nobody likes that feeling. So once again, back to kind of this vertical, triangle here that we have. Let's say they come in from a lead from social media. You've been posting about some deals that you're working on. You show up to our property that we're doing, by the way, on Saturday. Oh, that's an announcement. So this Saturday at 1 o'clock, we're doing a house tour at one of our properties, to be announced, because I don't know where we should be meeting. I'll think through that one. We have too many of them going on. I know which one's in a healthy stage. So we have a bathroom for you to actually use the restroom if we need to. We'll go do a property tour, and you're going to love that. But so maybe you're at a property tour and you're walking around talking about some of this, the deal that we're working on together as a team, and people start going, hey, what are you doing? Like, why are you at a real estate investing? Like, that's weird. Maybe it's not weird. Maybe you've been doing this for a while, and that's okay too, but it still creates like credibility. Back to that. It still creates a place for people to ask questions like, oh, why are you at a real estate investing? Like a fix and flip. What are you doing at a fix and flip? It creates curiosity for people. Okay. So maybe it came from social media, and then you drop them all the way down the funnel and you say, hey, why don't you come and check out this real estate investing workshop with me? I think you'd really enjoy it, right? Come hang out. Did you know that you could? And then tell them something that you knew. all it's going to do is create credibility. I hope that every real estate agent, especially at our brokerage, and we have, I think 85 now agents, actually do learn to do this. Leverage us. We're there anyway. We're going to be showing up, doing the same exact thing every single week. We're not changing. We're here to go. This is us. So it makes sense to leverage Mitch's strengths and talents. And it also makes sense to obviously leverage upstairs. Now, upstairs is only for obviously our community. And that's fine. People don't get to come upstairs. That's okay. But downstairs, that's a hub, right? We are creating an incredible environment for people to feel like they're safe, like they're around big energy, like they're around people making moves actually in this world, and high energy vibrations. And that is so attractive. Everyone loves that, right? And I'm going to edify you as a real estate agent or as, a person in the investment world, because maybe, and actually this has happened, I don't even know how many times, we'll have people show up to our Thursday night because I knocked on their door, or Jared knocked on their door, or Linda knocked on their door, or so-and-so knocked on their door and said, hey, it sounds like you're going through a foreclosure. Right? They found out. So I'm knocking on your door, trying to tell you I have answers. They'll actually bring them to our workshop. This happens all the time. They'll bring that person that's about to go through foreclosure to our workshop, and they're going to go, whoa, oh, wait, isn't that kind of nice? Because Mitch's whole thing, as he teaches, it's like, hey, you're going to win. You're not going to have bad credit. You're going to be able to have a house again. You're going to be able to actually move out and have a rental here soon, right? You're going to be able to actually get an apartment in your name. If you have a foreclosure on your name, what's going to happen? Right? You can't actually go get even an apartment if you have a foreclosure on your name. Just can't. You have to move in with family. So it is such a beautiful, well put together piece that no matter who you're bumping into, it's not a bad idea to, and we have a thing where you can even just send them, right? So they don't even have to come in, right? Just send them something to help educate them so that they feel like, and you feel like now you can have a conversation around that topic. I think that, and then this is why I wanted to get to this. We spend so much time, I have in the past, trying to educate my clients as agent, right? Trying to educate seller financing. Boom. Are you kidding me? Like, no, it's like, oh my gosh, they don't get it, right? Like, I've tried so many times. But if they come to one of my real estate investing workshops where I am teaching seller financing, and I will do this, the last real estate investing workshop I just taught at the college, I had 4 clients show up, and I loved it. I loved that because we're just educating them. That's it. And now they're like, oh, I get it. Perfect. I'm so glad. Can I seller finance your house now? Yeah, you can. Perfect. Thank you. That's all I needed you to do, right? Just sign on the freaking line. But people need buy-in, they need community, and they need support. They just need these things to feel like they can make these moves. And selling a house is a hard thing to do, right? Buying a house, it's terrifying. It can be. It absolutely can be a terrifying thing. And until you've done it a few times, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I'm literally signing my life away. It's like, oh, okay, whatever, do it almost a couple times a month, and you'll lose that excitement around it, unfortunately. Okay, I'm just signing papers again. But it is a big deal. And we need to recognize that people still need to be handheld. And all these people aren't on the same page as we are, right? If you're on this call, you're probably light years ahead of most people. And that means that it's hard for us to kind of, oh yeah, you don't know the basics, right? What's a mortgage? What, right? I mean, honestly, if you were to ask a lot of people, I would say that they actually don't know that answer. Like, oh, I don't know, like, I guess it's a loan. Okay, well, let's talk about the loan. Do we know what kind of loans there are? And right, like there's so much education that needs to go into buying a house, and especially if it's through seller financing or any type of creative financing. And if we can do the front loading for them, it saves us so much time as real estate investors. And we need to focus on that. So, I mean, we spend so much time doing everything but signing papers, but closing the actual contracts. And so my encouragement tonight is to, one, on your social media, I want you to create content that is going to be teaching them. Because if they have a question, you can just immediately come back to that content and send them that, right? Create content that people go, huh, that's really cool. That's really fascinating. And I encourage you to try and do that every single day. You should go live. I know I was supposed to do it today too, and I didn't. Actually, I haven't done the last 3 days. I'm such a slacker. I'm telling you this, but I'm not even doing it. But, you know what I mean? The idea of doing it, you should do it.
You do it most days.
Well, yeah. Not real lots. And it's consistency, right? Like if you can try, and even if it's once a week, and you're just like, okay, I'm going to do this once a week. I'm going to go live. And maybe it's in our mastermind that you choose to go live for like 5 minutes. And you just say, hey, I just wanted to introduce you to some of my teammates and some of our people that we're hanging out with. You know, start going around the room and introducing people. That's cool. That shows credibility, right? And there's so many people doing so many different things in our group that's the fun, like multifamily, right? Commercial, fix and flips, wholesaling, commercial, like the whole, we have everyone that you can possibly think of. And so it makes sense to leverage our team for those things. And then back to just lead gen in general. So if somebody, anyone that comes into your business, anyone, you should let them know. You should let them know that they could actually invest. Everyone should know. Everyone should know. Like, I was on a phone. Actually, I was on a, what was it? Oh, I touched too many people today. One of these gals. Oh, she's an accountant. She's an accountant. I was on a call with her, and she came from another working network group to come to creating her empire, and she's doing finance stuff. She's in school right now. She's going back to school for like a business degree. And she says, oh yeah, like I've always wanted to do, you know, some type of investing, blah, 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 but, you know, I just keep, unfortunately, just not, you know, I spend the money or I do this or I do that, and, you know, it just hasn't happened. Kids are expensive. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, I totally relate to that. I'm like, but can I ask how you're trying to buy real estate? And it's always the same. Like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, are you trying to buy real estate with traditional lending? Like, to go get financing through a bank? Well, is there a different way? Yeah, no, there is actually. There's a lot of different ways you can buy a house. That's the one I would recommend not to do. That would probably be the one I would not do. I wouldn't do that one. That'll definitely limit the way you can do investing. In fact, that's actually not investing. If you buy a house through traditional lending, guess what? It's not really real estate investing. I mean, anyone can do that. If you qualify for a house, cool, like, awesome, good for you. But like, you're very limited to the amount of actual investing that you can do. And people always kind of get mad at that, obviously. But, and are like, ooh, tell me more. Because, and actually at the volleyball tournament, right, one of the gals that was sitting next to us, so cute. She's been a nurse for the last 20 years, whatever. And she's like, oh, I always wanted to, blah, blah, blah. Our whole family is in, all in the medical field, right? They're all in the medical field, and, you know, we all make really good money, blah, 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 but we've never done the investing thing. And that does sound kind of fun. One day I hope I can figure that out. I just want to like, what are you talking about? One day? You could do it tomorrow. No, stop. Stop telling yourself that. But they just don't know. So of course I have to be a brat and be like, oh, well, did you know? Right? And this is what it is. Just tell a story. You can tell my story, the story I just told you of this beautiful lady who I just helped out of a really bad situation. Now she's gonna accept, you know, a cash offer and all these great things. You can tell the story of the one I told a couple weeks ago where we bought a house for $17,000, right? There's all sorts of really cool stories that you can lean on, or in our community, leverage their stories until you have your own. But telling a story of how you help somebody maybe acquire a house through seller financing, or help somebody, you know, get rid of their house because, they had to sell their home because they're in a really bad situation. Maybe they're going through divorce and, right, all these terrible things. Lean on those stories because all of a sudden, right, the lady next to me who was a nurse for 20 years goes, "You can do that?" Yeah, yeah, you can. I do it every day, actually. My team does at least, like every day. Somebody's buying a house for less than the price of a car. Which is just wild, right? Just no clue. There's leads everywhere. That's how I'm going to end. And then I want to open this up for discussion. But every single person that you talk to, every person is a lead. Whether they're sending you a referral or they become a client of yours some way or another, it needs to start happening. You need to become a lead magnet. Somebody in your business, right? Whether it's you or your spouse, or you got to dictate somebody to be this person. In our business, it's me. Usually Mitch goes, "Oh, you should probably talk to Maeli." Yeah, like that's my job. And I've taken that on, right? It's like, oh, this is my problem. But at the end of the day, that's what it is, right? It's recognizing that somebody has to fulfill that role. And if it's not you, then who? Find out who. And if it's not one of you, maybe you're married, right? And you're like, "Oh, well, neither of us like that, right? Like, that's just not our jam." Then find somebody on your team that is. You need to outsource that. You need to recruit that. You need to put that person in place so that you can have somebody that is your go-to person. You can always hire it out. That's fine. You can hire out anything. I promise, anything. But find somebody that is that person for you, because you will lose all your business and all your momentum if you don't just have somebody that's like, oh, constantly communicating and constantly dripping on people, and have a funnel to drip. Curate emails too. Like, really do a good job, because no matter what you've got going on, whether you're selling a property, whether you have a seller finance property or a wholesale property that you're working on, or you have, I don't know, lawn care, it doesn't matter. You can be blasting out an email and somebody's buying something of yours, and it's all the same campaign, right? It's all the same people. You don't need multiple different campaigns for different people. You just don't. I have a different campaign for male and female. That's about it, as far as like, just because I have workshops for only women. Other than that, like, if I didn't, I would never divide that for any reason, because they all should actually hear the same message, right? Like, and that's all business. But people do something and they like try and kind of like what they do with financing. I mean, Mitch teaches this obviously with velocity banking. People try and like split up the pie, right? And then all of a sudden you're left with nothing at the end, and you're like, "I have no leads." Well, it's because you separated them all. You put them all in different categories, and now you're like, "I have no leads." Put them all in one pot. Put them all in one spot, and then curate those, and actually curate conversations and figure out how to solve their problem. Because we can absolutely sell them something. We have something for everyone. We just need to figure out what their problem is so we can solve it. Fair? Okay, good. All right, any questions? I know let's just talk about it. What are you doing right now for lead gen? Like, what are you doing? Yeah, let's talk, Samantha. Let's hear it.
Well, right now, so I was on a team and we were
That's right.
getting leads. Like,
Yes.
they were horrible, though. So it was just a bunch of wasted time. So yeah, right now I've just really tried to talk to people.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So if you're on, are you in any Facebook groups currently?
A few. Yeah.
Cool. There's like, and actually we can do this. So I'll show you some. I'll do my share screen here. Might as well. See if this works. You see my screen?
Yes.
Cool. So let's get out of all my conversations. Oops, stop. Okay. Lots of obviously conversations. See how this works? Lots and lots of always having conversations with people. So if you go to Facebook and you're on the home screen, right? And I haven't seen another platform like personally our followings on Instagram, but Facebook just has an ability to create like groups, right? And
Okay.
so if you are, these are the groups that I actually own. So that's how you can see this, right? And you can kind of see more of that. But then you can just go to just groups on the left-hand side of your profile. And people miss this all the time. And, I don't know why this is so confusing, but I get it. Like it was confusing for me for a while too, until I figured out, oh, it's just right there. Like it was right in front of my face for so long. I just didn't know what it was. So if I'm already a part of a group, which this is all the groups that I'm a part of, like there's a lot. Right? That's a lot. It just keeps going. So, and it will keep just going. Okay, there it is. There's the end of it. So I'm a part of all of these groups. And it's interesting that once you become like a part of this group, and then so Real Estate Investors Association deals and more, right? Utah Girls Business, Sales Masters, Favorite Seasonal Recipes, Real Estate Breakthrough, Real Estate Essentials, Rockstars. Hey, you're part of that group probably.
Yep.
Let's see here. Utah's Food Events and More. Layton Homes for Rent and for Sale. Let's see here. That's an old one. Renata's Team Elevate. Oh, are you part of that yet, by the way?
No.
Okay. I'm writing myself a note so I don't forget to do that. Add to.
I don't think so.
Bait. Okay. I will make sure that. Will you send me a picture of you two? So
Sure.
I can properly.
Like one together, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
okay.
would assume that that's what you'd want.
Yeah.
Most couples, that's what they choose to do.
Okay.
Some couples are like, nope, it's just me, right? Like I'm the one that's doing this and it's just my face. And you know what? So you get to make that decision. I will leave that up to you. But Utah Houses for Sale by Owner, right? These are all incredible groups. And
Okay.
Utah Real Estate Investors, and every single one of them, and Mitch says this all the time, and I love it, which is all of it works and nothing doesn't. All of it works, nothing doesn't. And for so long, I'd fight him over this concept. Like, I'd be like, well, what works better? Like, I'd have all these, like, I wanted to know certain strategies, and I would want to know, like, well, tell me what's working best, right? Like, I would have this feeling of like, well, where are you spending your time this way? And, all this. And at the end of the day, it's true. All of it works. All of it works. What you need to decide is what you like doing. That's the difference. It's like, how did you like doing this? How did you like being inside of these Facebook groups, right? How did you like having just conversations?
Do you spend a ton of time on Facebook? Because that was one thing the past year. I'm like, okay, I need to unplug and be more present. Like, but I know social media, everyone's like, oh, social media. So how much time do you spend on social media?
Well, if you're a creator, then it's okay if you're creating something, right? If you're consuming it, then you can get sucked into the vortex and have a hard time getting out, right? So as long as you're there to create something, whether it's content or something that's going to lead to advancing your cause and your business, then you're doing it for business purposes. But if you're just scrolling and looking at funny cat pictures, then you probably shouldn't be on there.
Yeah, it's not serving you, right? In that case. And so my answer to that is I would create specific timelines, and I'm very specific about it. So I do actually spend 2 hours a day because that's my business. Lead gen is my business. So I spend a minimum of 2 hours a day on Facebook. I do. And it's because
Do you break it up throughout the day, or like first thing
usually
in the
not.
morning?
I try and just burn through it because I'm
Block it.
I try to just
Okay.
block it out and just burn through it because then I can be done and I go on my merry way. Which is why really all of us, right, should be doing this. There is so many people that need our attention. I don't have time to be in Utah seller finance deals every hour of the day. And do you know how many leads I've actually received from this? A lot. Like, I've received a lot of leads from this group. And it's because somebody will say something like, hey, I just thought about, I thought about selling my house. I'd love somebody to, do you have a referral for me for somebody that would be, that could do seller financing? Boom, I'm in there, right? Like, hey, great news. I actually happen to love seller financing, right? My team and I have done hundreds of seller finance transactions, and you can say that. Your team has done hundreds of seller finance transactions, and I want you to take ownership in that. And I want you
Okay.
to leverage that. You have a team. We're here. You're not alone. Right? That feels so good. And not that we're gonna take some part of your deal, because that's not the kind of team like your other team was, right? We don't want your deal. Right? We don't want anything to do with that, but we want to be there to support you in helping you curate that deal. Right? That's what
That's
the team does, right? So we're here to be like, oh, tell me about your deal. You know what I mean? Like, talk to me about it. Let's go through it. Let's go through how to have that conversation. Let's walk through those baby steps. Let's actually jump on the phone with that person, right? But look, hi everyone. I'm the admin of this group. I'm a licensed agent and I'm part of both Salt Lake and Washington Board of Realtors. As of right now, there are 238 seller finance properties through the Salt Lake MLS and 56 seller finance properties through the St. George MLS. If you would like a list of these properties, please send me a DM. I can get you a list specific to where you're looking. Wouldn't you want that list?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I mean, you can go grab it yourself, is the truth, right? You can go spend the time doing it, or you can reach out to this Nate kid.
Oh, he's in our brokerage too.
I know.
Yeah.
Right? You'd be like, hey, Nate, you're in our brokerage. Do you do a lot of seller financing? I have had a conversation with him a couple times, but not about seller financing. I've never even talked to him about seller financing before. But don't you think so back to the funnel, don't you think that that's a phenomenal way to be like, hey, did you know you could actually come and meet 50 people who would be interested in your deals? That might be
Yeah.
nice, right? Oh, hey, Nate. Also, right, I'm going to add him because I'm not even friends with him. That's terrible. And he's our brokerage. And I don't even have him as a friend. But I see, I don't have time. I really, right? This is why we need more people doing more of this because I'm so busy doing other things, right? That if you're taking 2 hours, I'm taking 2 hours. If everyone takes 2 hours and really tries to curate relationships, then if there is a deal that's out there, our team's actually gonna know about it. You're gonna actually be able to know, like, oh yeah, there's a really good deal. Nate just sent it to me. Boom, boom, blast out to everybody. Cool. Now you have a wholesale deal. And because it's in our brokerage, you can actually know before it hits the MLS. Right? You can build that relationship with Nate where it's like, hey, dude, if you're doing a lot of seller finance or you know a lot of, what's going on in the market, you should actually let me know before.
That's the guy we talked to last time.
No, that's a
different
different guy.
Right? That's just an example of just like, oh yeah, you should probably become friends with that person. Let's see here. So if you're over to the right hand side, right, if you're not inside of this group, so these are all right, you can actually jump into side of one of the groups. And now I'm actually inside of this real estate investor group. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
But if I actually just go back to here and I just hit groups, this is just the feed. So this is all the groups that I'm in, and I can just browse through what they're talking about today. Congratulations to who their business grants approved, blah, blah, blah grants, their business off ground, guaranteed approval in hours. Oh, that's interesting, and sometimes I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know that, right? I learned something too sometimes. It's like, oh, that's cool. I have a seller finance situation in Treatment, house valued at 285, loan is at 177, plus the 24,000 different during COVID. Let's see, deferment there it is, the deferment, right? At 3.3. That's fantastic. Take over the payments for the life of the loan. Monthly payments are at $1,100 a month. Why wouldn't we reach out to this person? Right? Alinda is. Alinda is on our team, right? We got people in here going, hey, we're interested. Good. More of us should be interested. That's really sad. This person only had 6 people interested. 5 others.
And that was a month ago, huh?
5.
Almost. Yeah. Wow.
5 people were interested in this deal. That's so sad. Are you kidding me? There should have been 1,000 people looking at this deal, but no. People just don't know that this is so exciting, right? Seller finance terms, again, turnkey home and Roy. Cool. Why don't we know more about that? And then let me give you a little secret. Well, I'm going to give you a really good secret. Look how many emails you could capture and put to your wholesaling list. 1, 2, and if I went back up, I probably had another 15 that I could have just added to my wholesaling list.
So you just take those and add them into your wholesale list. Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Do. And I'm being funny. I mean, yes, I do. And people are like, well, they didn't give you permission. They just publicly put it on the forum. What do you? Do I need like? Hey, I want to be on a wholesaling list. Perfect. I have a wholesaling list. I'm going to put you on a wholesaling list. You're welcome. And if they ask me to ever take them off, guess what? I'll take them off. I'm not doing any. That's public information here. I'm in this group. Like, of course I'm going to. And I actually have never had somebody be like, oh, I can't believe you sent me a good real estate investing deal. Like, I've never had anybody do that, right? Like, nobody's mad that they're receiving something good, like a valuable thing. Now, if you're spamming them or like, doing something like that or constantly sending them crap, then please don't do that, right? Like, that's not why they put their email address here. But they did put their email address to be like, hey, I want a property, right? They raised their hand.
Yeah.
Give me a property. I'm looking for some type of deal. And then you can actually start a conversation. Hey, right? If it was me, and I mean, this is how I spend literally most of my days. Like, for those 2 hours, I'll be like, Spencer, and I'll just reply real quick. And I'll be like, hey, Spencer, right? I mean, this is exactly what I saw. You were interested in this seller finance deal. I also have, right? So now I'm building a relationship with Spencer. I also have multiple seller finance deals that come across my desk monthly. Would you like to be in my wholesaling list?
Okay.
Bam. Now
Awesome.
I build a relationship with him. I go in, I do a little bit of Facebook stalking, right? I'm like, okay, who are you? Oh, cute. Oh, I love you. Awesome. Let's add a friend, right? Come in here, start messaging him. Hey, right? Like, and that's how I curate and cultivate connections.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay, so this is really the best form of lead gen because you are killing all birds with one stone. You're doing one activity that will really generate a lot of different types of leads for you. Because this one person, Spencer, if you create a good contact and communication with him, maybe and say what you do, right? And you're like, hey, I'd love to jump on a 15-minute strategy call and see how maybe we can serve each other in our business, or see how, as an agent, I can help you and see what you're looking for. Right?
Okay.
I have seller finance deals come across my desk all the time. I'd love to see what you're looking for. And then create profiles for people, right? And be like, oh, I know Spencer's looking for, the west side of the valley. He's looking for this type of deal. And then when you're talking to our team on Thursdays, you're like, hey, I have a buyer for this type of property. I have a buyer for this type of property. I have a buyer for this type of property. And then Jared and Linda and everybody else that's in the team that are bird dogs can be like, cool, I got you.
And this is why vertical integration is so important, because if we're building vertically, like everything's real estate related, it's really easy to take that same lead and, like Maeli said, and you can hit them on more than one thing, or you can find the one right thing for them. Whereas a lot of people, serial entrepreneurs, they'll be like, well, I'm a real estate investor and I own a cookie company. It's like, well, then you're doing double the work because those are two separate verticals, right? Like you can't parse leads into both those things. But it doesn't matter how many businesses you run, as long as you can run the same leads through the same funnel and parse them into the different ways that, as an agent or as an investor or as a seller of a property or as this or that or whatever the case might be.
Okay, great.
Double dip, triple dip, quadruple dip.
See? And bam. New lead. And it will. We'll have a conversation now.
See you Thursday, Spencer.
Yep, I'll see you Thursday. But this is how this works, and it's so fun, right? And I love developing relationships. And you know what? Spencer and I are going to be new besties, and he doesn't even know it yet.
That's awesome.
Right? And that's just how I look at it. And, Gloria, good for you. Look at all this amazing. She's also in our brokerage.
Yeah, she is.
everyone's down our brokerage. I swear. We're doing a good job. But again, more seller financing deals. But I do like to spend time on the left-hand side because a lot of times some of these groups are not very active, right? But one of them that is really active that I think you would, so the RE Sisterhood, if you're not in it, that's a good one. I love this kind of be a little bit more personal towards you tonight because I don't even know why no one's here. It's like bizarre. Like that never happens. It's kind of nice.
Texted they didn't work this week for some reason, so nobody got reminded.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that'll do it.
Just meant for us.
It was just meant for you. That's right.
Yeah.
And then Boss Babes of Utah, that's a very, very active group. There's 1.3 thousand members. And I love this group. They do a fantastic job of just like really celebrating business in general and just women. And you can find people that you're like, oh, I kind of resonate with you, or oh, like I love the stuff that you're doing. You know, have you ever thought about doing this? Or when I introduced myself, I actually generated like 25 leads from this, and
Wow.
2 of the people bought a property of like, right, just really cool because
That's
you
awesome.
introduce yourself, and you get to tell them like what you do and how you do it. Look at the rules. Obviously, they have a lot of rules, but it's a great way to just create some connections with other female, you know. And then you're in our Creating Her Empire group, right? Our women's brain.
I don't know if I don't know if I am.
Okay. So this
What
one,
is it called?
so this
Oh.
one you'll have to go find because unfortunately I can't. I mean, I can invite, but it's like it's just better if you find it. So it's Utah Reign, WREIN, and then Creating Her Empire. And that's my. This is my group that we started, and it's been really fun. Last month we did. Oh, this is so on the 25th. This was the announcement that I made. So on the 25th, Monday, we're doing a really cool workshop in person, and it'll be a lot about this, right? Like lead generation. So if you want to invite anybody,
awesome.
you're more than welcome to. But obviously, come. It's free. Doesn't cost anything.
Okay. Is that the
Um,
one you were talking about with Forbes Riley? Or is that
No.
something else?
That is a total. That's going to be more of like that bougie cocktail party vibe. This one.
Oh, okay.
Right. This is going to be more of like a crazy next level, like everyone just having so much fun, leveling up their business. Oh, it was a really good time. But yeah, so that's how I would focus your time. For
Okay.
me, that's like groups are, and I really do stick to like whatever you're gonna designate. Like if it's an hour, cool, set an hour, right? And then that way you're not like glued to your phone because that's what will happen is that you're like, you know, you need to create boundaries. Like I was saying, you can't just be constantly like, whoa, right? But the nice thing is if you do build, and I want to help you do this, and so does Mitch, I'm sure, but like we want to help you create a brand because then once you start creating a brand, leads actually come to you,
Oh, awesome.
right? And then people will be like, oh, well, what do you do? Right? How can I help you? It's like, yeah, how can I? Yeah, I like that question. How can I help you? So, yeah, hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Of course, of course. Wade, my man, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I've missed you. I'm
I know.
so glad to see you.
It's so lonely.
Yeah.
But we'll get by.
Yeah, okay, good. Well, give love to the wife and know that we're here for you, okay?
Appreciate it.
Love you, love you, love you. All right, baby, you gonna give your book away?
Let's do it. Okay, let me get spotlighted here as well. Okay, so last thing, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up for the night. So we actually just compiled kind of all of our trainings that we have. You guys got just kind of a little snapshot of lead gen tonight, but we have a book that we want to share with you guys. So the book is Off Market Deals on Tap. You can go to offmarketdealsontap.com, and this is what you'll see. If you, I don't know why it does that. Okay, here we go. Can you guys see my screen okay? Off Market Deals on Tap.
Yes.
Handsome guy on a book right here. All right. Off Market Deals on Tap. You just got to put in your email, first name and last name, hit submit, and a little link will appear right below the submit button. You click that, you download it. So book's free. Feel free to download it for free and check it out. There are some awesome other things, like Maeli and I have put together kind of all of our video trainings on Off Market Deals on Tap. There's over 3 hours into what we're calling a kit. Definitely don't have to buy the kit. Your Renatus education is where we learned all this stuff in the first place. But we do have these little kits that we have, like our analysis calculators and our worksheets for our due diligence on properties and all these kinds of things. Each kit's $17, so you can check that out as well. But you can totally just ignore that. Just get the book. It's awesome. It'll walk you through kind of each step of the asset acquisition process and how you should be treating it. You asked before, Samantha, like, should I be like breaking up my Facebook time throughout the day? I recommend on any task we're doing, block, right? If you're doing lead gen, just do lead gen. For however long you can, just do lead gen. And then once it's time to move to analyzing properties, take all the leads that you generated, all the yeses, and just analyze those yeses, right? Okay. And then block, so we're blocking things out. And that's on a macro scale and on a micro scale. If I'm doing, if I've got 10 different places that I'm going to go generate leads, well, don't jump on Facebook for 10 minutes and then go to the county and then get back on Instagram and then, go to a different county office. Like, if you block it, you're going to get more done, and it's treated more like an assembly line. So you're going to learn all that awesome stuff in this book. So I hope you guys enjoy it. That's our free gift to you tonight. And all of those who are joining us on YouTube as well. And guys, that's all the time we have for you tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed the amazing training from Maeli. Man, we just scratched the surface on lead gen, so we're gonna have to dive in a little bit more. But we will be back next Wednesday, same time, same place. It's going to be me. Maeli's going to be networking, right? She's going to be out generating some leads. So I'm going to be hosting next week. We've got an awesome topic planned for you. Hopefully we have a really cool guest speaker who's going to help us with branding, which is also important in lead generation. But we'll see. If not, you're stuck with me. And then tomorrow night, if you guys can make it, we're all meeting up for the mastermind. And don't forget about nationals. In the meantime, guys, go out, stay healthy, stay happy, stay hungry to get some real estate done, and we will see you next week. Thanks for joining us. Take care.